Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 785 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am, of course, joined after some hiatus in Pretend Low Earth Orbit by Chris DeBona.
Hi. Yeah, I had to get the rocket refueled.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
Plus, it's probably going to be really hard for us to land now that the SpaceX grabbing tower is a little bit ruined.
Yeah, 'tis true.
We talked about that already, right? The destruction underneath the pad.
I believe so.
I don't know that we did. Anyway, let's see what has happened. The stuff we got goes back a little bit, but the oldest one that we have on the list is a little bit of Red Dead Redemption coming back. The Pinkertons are real. They still exist.
Ooh, where'd it go?
And Wizards of the Coast used Pinkertons because some guy got a box of pre-release Magic cards and opened them on a YouTube stream. So they sent Pinkertons to stop them.
Well, that sounds like a very Pinkerton thing to do, right?
Right?
Send them after like the Apple phone guy who left it in the bar. Go. I'm pretending I'm Tim Cook. I don't know what he sounds like. So here's what I want you to do. See, I want you to go to that guy's house. I want you to rough him up. I want you to send a message that anyone who leaves one of my phones on a bar is going to answer for it. Yes,
see,
we're going to go do exactly that, right?
That's probably exactly what Tim Cook sounds like.
Yep.
Yeah, I have it on good authority. Yeah.
He hangs out with Bugs Bunny in a 1950s, 1940s cartoon.
Yeah, I'm sure that Bob Mattel called Tim Apple and said, "Hey, so what do you do when the apple gets left in the bar?" I'll tell you what I do. I call it the Pinkertons.
I call the Pinkertons. See, the Pinkertons.
I call the Pinkertons. See,
they solve all your problems.
And Bob Mattel's like, "Is that what you do? Is that you do that?"
I use them for my laundry.
Chicago? He's more like Chicago mob, or what's Bob Mattel's ideal gangster voice?
Ooh.
Where's he located? Where's he from?
Since we're inventing him.
I'm pretty sure Mattel's in Buffalo, New York. So in upstate New York.
All right.
Southern Canada, gangster,
Right.
Maybe we should make him Canadian just because that's one of the few accents you can do where they don't freak out.
Yeah, go for it.
No, thank you.
You can be Bob Mattel. I'll be Tim Apple as a Chicagoan gangster.
What is Minnesota?
Oh yeah. You can make fun of a Minnesotan accent.
Oh yeah.
Hey, don't mess with the Minnesota mob. That's all I got to tell you.
Oh yeah. You best give us back them cards or there'll be trouble.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what it is to be Minnesota nice there.
I'm told that the Michigan accent is not that dissimilar from the Minnesotan accent if you're outside of it.
Especially if you're a Youper.
Actually, Michigan's supposed to be one of those states where you can't tell where we're from.
Oh really? We have
one of the least strong accents.
Midwest diction.
Well, I think it's just the standard accent, and all the other accents are sort of modifications of the Michigan accent.
Well, it's because I guess like a lot of newscasters used it for years and years, so that became like a standard. So that you don't identify to most people as a specific location. There's a term for it, like mid-continental or something.
Yeah,
right.
I don't want to give away the game, but in California when I lived there, when somebody would go, "Huh," like that as instead of or instead of hey or whatever, you're like, "Oh, Central Valley." They'd be like, you'd say like da 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 da, huh, huh. And you're like,
my kids do that.
Fresno.
So, that might be
very Fresno.
That might be something that the modern era has destroyed as being an identifier, because my kids do that.
Well, I think we've covered this story.
That's right. We've covered the Pinkertons. So now we can talk about an AI-generated pizza commercial.
Oh, that's cool.
I love this commercial.
Yeah, this is the weirdest thing.
It was removed.
Did it move?
Wait.
Did we take too long to talk about a story? Oh,
here it is.
See, cheese, pepperoni, vegetables, secret things.
And it is actually funny. But just
Oh
like,
God, the
yeah,
mouths.
all the
Oh.
people are like distorted
The
and weird.
and the dialogue is fantastic.
There's your bumper shot there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Hang on, let me get it. Let me get
Hell
it.
you
Oh yeah, we screenshotted that.
go.
That could
Oh
be
yeah.
Cheese,
Pepperoni hot spot.
pepperoni, yeah,
Like
like
family,
family, but with more cheese.
That's really fun.
Guys, that's the future that we're in for when all media is created by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I know it's going to be great. I'm excited about it.
Too many.
Watch, Chris, when we're done, watch it with sound. It is charming.
I will.
Sound is what makes it.
Yep. So we've got Netflix. They've been clamping down on the password sharing in Spain, and the word is they lost 1 million subscribers over password policing, which of course.
Well, let me ask a question.
Yeah, there's a
Did they
lot
lose
of
the
questions.
subscribers, or did they lose the people not paying for Netflix?
Well, yeah. Well, I think I mean, if you did they lose 1 million users, or did they lose 1 million subscribers? Obviously, they didn't lose 1 million paying subscribers. That would be crazy. But I bet they lost a few.
A robot.
I've always wondered about that sort of thing because, like, my father-in-law, who I could hit his house with my Wi-Fi if I wanted to.
You considered that? I mean, that's pretty fun. It's like the new pickleball, a router tossing.
What, router tossing?
Yeah.
It's like
Router
caber
toss.
tossing, but with at 6 gigahertz.
It's a fall of users, not subscribers. So I'm sure
Yeah.
at Netflix they're like, that was
sure.
the point.
That actually kind of probably saves us some bandwidth. Although it does have the flip side that if you kill all those users, then you're not going to show up as highly on all those charts where they're like, oh, we got 1 million watched hours of this show.
Right, but they don't care about that. They've never shared that information.
They've never shared it, but you know they care.
Well, they care internally. But,
right. Well, and they probably also care because they selectively release data in order to be the most boastful that they can be when they want to plug the success. And if I mean, I don't know what's the population of Spain.
That's a good question.
Like their internal numbers like that, I'm not sure that really drives like anyone there is worried about that.
47 million.
47 million is what that
just drives their decisions on what they're going to put up and those sorts of things.
Sure. Well,
I'm gonna load GPT for all and ask that same question.
So if you assume that Spain is approximately 1/5 the size of the United States, then and that ratio holds to the United States, then that's this is 5 million people in the United States, or 5 million users, and that seems like that would have an influence on your like where you show up in those charts. That seems like a big enough number because like when you look at the charts of like what the most successful shows are, like 30, 40, 50 million watches is like a monster hit. That's like what Mystery, the Adam Sandler thing that just came out.
Murder Mystery.
Like that was like
Murder Mystery 2.
Yeah.
He just came out with 2.
50s. That's like 50s and 60s for millions of users.
Right.
So
Aniston.
Right, but I think the only reason they released that number was because it was exceptionally large and it was boastful, right? Like,
right.
I don't think that number really matters to their bottom line. I think it matters more towards being able to use it as a marketing tool and deciding what things they're going to put money in. Right? It's not like traditional metrics where like, oh, we lost this many, now we don't have this money because they weren't paying to begin with. So it doesn't affect their bottom line. They're just using those numbers to figure out what they're going to put money into and what they can promote.
Sure. Okay, so Netflix has 232 million paid subscribers, according to this search engine. So if you assume the United States has roughly the same ratio of population to users, then you're talking about I don't know, a few percent hit to those numbers, to the what they're boasting numbers. That
right.
I mean, that might hurt them in some level, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, remember, this is an intentional act.
For sure.
This is the point. So,
right.
Well, that's the thing is, does 1 million of
what do I know, man?
Do 1 million of those users, do 100,000 of them give up and subscribe? In which case, win-win for Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like,
it's like
they
they have a
need.
$6 plan in Spain.
It's not like they need those numbers for ad views, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
those numbers don't really mean what
Well,
they would mean
that
to a
that may not be
traditional.
true because isn't their lowest tier now ad supported?
They're going there. I don't know if they're there yet.
They might have switched that over.
Yeah, I think they're having a slow
I don't
time
know.
of it. A slow time of it.
So if you
I'm
guys,
surprised they didn't call up the Pinkertons to go and shake down the Spanish.
Right.
That'd be really up the Pinkertons' alley to find a minority. Although in Spain, the Spanish aren't a minority.
wow, that's very sensitive and culturally aware of you, Chris.
But the poor, they love beating up on the poor. So
the ones who can't afford their own Netflix subscription.
Yeah,
and they're using moms.
Let me talk to you. See, you're gonna pay us that $6, or we're gonna have a what for?
I really hope that the Pinkertons still have like an old fashioned ironclad navy, right? That they can just sail across the Atlantic to Spain and demand.
Look, Paul, ironclads,
right? Just some 30mm old school mortars.
Yep.
Yeah, and like
the
it's
beach.
what was the shot they would use where it was just like forks and random bits of metal on the
yeah. They use grape shot like that.
Grape shot. Thank you.
To break off masts and stuff.
I have a question for you two. Growing up, did you ever eat grape nuts cereal?
Yes.
I always associated grape shot with grape nuts.
That's
if you think about it, grape nuts would make terrific grape shot if it were.
It would.
The consistency is virtually the same. I don't know how people don't break all their teeth trying to eat grape nuts.
Yeah, really. I mean,
that's punishment cereal.
But it's cannon fodder cereal.
Yeah,
really.
And the worst cereal in the world to eat if you have braces. There's no cereal that's worse than grape nuts if you have braces.
Yeah,
each individual piece is just small enough to fit underneath everything in your mouth.
It's mouth caltrops. It's
for sure.
Yeah. Because I like popcorn. I like corn nuts. I like crunchy things.
Ooh, yes.
But grape nuts are just a little too small. It's almost like they're a sand grain magnified. They have the right number of pokey bits that you'd want in a good construction sand. Anyway,
Magnum claims that he just ate grape nuts a couple days ago, and I think he's got to be lying because
if you let it rest in the milk a little bit, it dulls the edges.
Yes,
it's so gross.
Gummy bears, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? Gummy bears and grape nuts sounds like a trick.
Yeah, that's not cool. Don't do that.
I'm gonna enjoy my gummy bear. Oh
man! Every morning I stir just a little bit of toothpaste into my orange juice so that I save time.
You're the asshole that mixes peanut butter M&M or peanut M&Ms and Skittles in the same bowl, aren't you?
Oh boy, that's abusive.
All right. So we got. How you guys doing on Twitter these days? Have you been following the dramas? Because somebody released a plugin for Chrome that just it suppresses all verified Twitter posts, so you don't see any blue checks anymore. And I just love that. I love how the blue check mark thing in the last month has gone from it has gone to essentially an embarrassment.
Yeah. I thought when he took over, there was a lot of rumblings about how he's going to ruin Twitter, and I thought he would have to try very, very hard to fuck this up, quite frankly. But he's doing it. He's trying really hard to do it.
Yep.
Not all is completely lost yet, but he's really, really pushing to ruin that business.
I'm impressed. I don't know that we could have done a worse job.
I mean, if we tried, maybe we could have.
Well, right. So I just went to Twitter for the first time in some time, and I'm like, what's going on here? Well, a lot of people are going to Blue Sky. Have you heard of Blue Sky?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not on it.
Yeah, so I created an account there. A friend of mine sent me an invite, and I'm like, oh, it's just Twitter, but
I just actually have a message. I logged into Twitter and somebody DM'd me about Blue Sky.
Yeah, so you should check it out. It's like old Twitter, but I'm on a Twitter sabbatical since October, and I've been kind of enjoying it. So like, I created a Blue Sky account, and I'm like continuing my sabbatical. I haven't posted a thing. I followed some people, and I think I liked a couple
I
posts.
like Mastodon, but it's
Well,
basically
Blue Sky is
because
just Mastodon.
yeah,
You
they're all
know? Yeah.
basically the same thing. But I mean, basically, each of these new systems are just you shake off the cruft.
Yeah.
The
I
100 people
man,
that the
it's
people you
already
follow that
getting.
you didn't need to follow that forward a little bit too much garbage.
Well, the problem is I followed James Gunn on it, and
Oh,
honestly, it's a lot of self-promotion bullshit. I'm like, ugh,
well,
you know.
that's
Yeah,
true of
I
a lot of
enjoy
folks, I
him
suppose.
quite a bit, but I'm like, I don't know.
Well, anyway, there was also the story that Stephen King and a few other people were saying that, like, they were blue check marks were just assigned to them and they didn't want them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they didn't pay
Yeah.
for them, and yeah.
because obviously you need to keep the value. Oh, that actually reminds me. Have either of you watched the TV show? It's on Peacock right now called Mrs. Davis.
No, I have not.
The reason that I say that is so the premise of the show. I'm 2 episodes in, and I don't know if the show's going to be worth it or not. It's got all of my good things in it. There's an artificial intelligence trying to run the world. There's
Oh, yeah.
there's
So
maybe
it's about
magic. She's a nun.
she's a nun. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was reading it yesterday. I was like, oh, I might check that out.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's one of those shows that's got a ton of style.
Mhm.
But like I'm not sure that it's gonna work or not. It's gonna really determine. It's gonna be does it work? But one of the things that they have in this is that the AI rewards people who help it by essentially giving them an augmented reality sort of equivalency to the blue checks, and people will do things out of character, let's say, for in order for the opportunity to get their, they call them wings, which is pretty thinly veiled relative to Twitter. But no, it's I would say it's worth watching at least 1 or 2 episodes of the show. It's so much style, but
Mhm.
you know me, you put a story where there's revolutionaries trying to fight against an all powerful AI, and that's kind of my jam.
There was someone in it who I thought was neat. I don't remember who
It's
it was.
got the actress who was the lead in Glow, and
Which
it's
one was
got
Glow?
it was the Netflix wrestling show starring
Ah,
Alison
well,
Brie.
Betty Gilpin was also in Mad Men, right? And,
Was she?
but I only watched the first season of that.
Uh,
I'm not a good. I'm not good at watching television.
David Arquette was in episode 2
David
of it.
Arquette, was he reprising his role from Scream?
He was not Dewey.
Oh,
Although I did just watch Scream 6.
but why?
Because I like Scream.
Okay,
They're okay. And Scream 6 was okay. That's all I have
cool.
to say about that. So this Western Sydney story, you should just look at the picture of
We're
this.
always good for a spite house. Oh, this is glorious.
It's not really even a spite house. It's just this dude who ain't selling. He's
Yeah.
got this beautiful long tract of green lawn amidst
beautiful lawn,
houses
man.
packed edge to edge to edge to edge.
Oh God,
Isn't that great?
that's wonderful. I mean, that's a nice lawn.
Yeah,
How do you maintain a lawn that nice in Sydney, man?
That's a lot of
I mean, it's
sprinklers.
yeah, boy.
I mean, look at the lawns around him, right?
Yeah.
Well, well, I mean, those are green too. I mean, this is a more
Yeah, but I
mature
mean,
tract
you get
housing, but little
that
post. Yeah,
little what 16th of an acre or whatever, that 1/32nd of an acre. There you could
yeah.
water with a
Those are
thimble,
small lots. Those are
Yep.
like
right?
5,000, 4,000 square foot lots, and then you've got the lots.
5 acres. But it's just great that it
An acre's like what,
spans
27,000 feet. So yeah.
it spans at least like 3 or 4 streets. Like I love that guy cuz that guy's like, "Nope, you guys can't even have your roads. Go around."
I admit, I'm looking at this, and they're still very close to his size.
They are. They are.
Proportionally.
I like that. Oh wow, that's so cool. Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3 streets. 3 streets are just blocked by that dude's
Okay.
yard.
Can I just say this is a great name for a street, Megalong
Megalong?
Street. I think it's Megalong. And I know it's probably Megalong. It's more Australian, but wow, that's cool. But and then there's what, Hambledon,
$50
That's
million
cool.
offer to sell that. But I mean, I don't know how many houses they would put in there. 100?
Well, let's go back to that first picture. So at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 2, 20 times another. So call it 30 by 30.
Maybe 40, 50 houses.
I don't know. You could fit 60 in this length.
You
And
could,
another 60.
but those are,
You know.
yeah. I mean, in this day and age, you'd
They'd
probably
probably
want to do
just
something
extend
super
this.
dense. Yeah,
They'd probably extend this road across.
they'd
and
connect the
across, so
3
you'd get, like,
roads.
so call it 6 across, 7 across.
I think you get 30 to 40
7,
houses out
14. Yeah, 14 plus 14. Let's call it 15 for easy math. 15 plus 15, 45. Then 60, 75. Call it maybe 80 houses. 80, 90 houses. I mean, 90.
That's a lot
And
of money.
they're probably selling for 2 million a pop, right? I mean, 90 times 2, 180
probably at
million.
least.
So they'd make profit,
Mad bank.
Yeah. Honestly, but looking at this house, this is a monster house. And,
Yeah.
and they have this big old barn back here. I mean, they probably have plenty of money,
Yeah, they're fine.
to have that place,
Mhm.
Or it's just an Airbnb that does well for them.
Right? That would actually be pretty fun as an Airbnb. Hey, I just go play soccer on my lawn.
Yeah.
So this is a weird one. Was this a Chris story or a Rob?
That wasn't me. But it's not the first time somebody has eaten the banana, This also happened, I think, in Austria, where basically, and I wonder if it's actually so.
You think it's staged?
Maurizio Catalan's banana artwork eaten by an art student in Seoul. He knew what he was doing,
right?
I think if anything, he's in on it.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think it was staged?
I'm a banana truther, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also I struggle with that because they said it's $120,000 piece of art. But if that's a banana that's just hanging on the wall, then in a week that's just a goo pile.
Yeah.
And that is not going to be worth $120,000. That's just going to be a smear sliding down your wall, right? If it's still edible.
It's stunt art, It's like art made from ice or made from cockroaches. It's like, okay.
It should be what it should be is evolving art. So it starts with this, and then
Yeah.
you tape up a piece of banana bread,
Ooh.
and then eventually it just becomes shit, and then you turn it into a plant.
Well, there
and
was
then you grow a
This
banana
is-
tree.
this
you
is
grow
why-
a banana tree, and then you eat the banana. Full
I think
circle.
Rob is the only one who understands art amongst the three of us.
It could be.
Yeah.
That could be. There was a sculpture that digested food that you had to feed.
I remember that.
A while back. It could be like that. This
Yeah.
this could be like the first stage in that sculpture.
Yeah, and then you have art student, then you have poop, and then you have Groot.
Just so long as most of it ends up in the garbage, because that's what
You want to throw the art student away, man?
No, just the banana.
Compost him, Yeah.
Just the banana.
Okay.
All right, we got.
Look,
the Transformer for the trailer for Transformers: Rise of the Beast. The trailer looks fine.
What were they called? They weren't Beasticons, right? What were they?
Beasticles.
The Beast. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were Dinobots, right?
Yeah.
Constructicons.
Constructicons.
What were the animals called? I can't remember what the animals were called.
Junglebots.
They were called Beast something, I thought.
Decepticons.
The Xenoverse.
Transformers. Dinobots.
They were the stars of the show Beast
Jungle
Wars.
Bots? Question mark?
I think they were just Beast Wars, which is not nearly as cool of a name. Yeah, the Beast Wars Collector's Guide.
Oh. Yeah.
All right.
Dinobot. Beast Wars.
It always struck me
Wait, so
strange.
Dinobot is part of Beast Wars. That means that the Dinobots are a subset of the Beast Wars bots.
Yeah. I don't think
Megatron creates a new Dinobot with transmetal technology. Oh my.
I don't think Grimlock would appreciate you making fun of his people like that.
Well, I mean,
like not giving them their due in the movie.
Ooh. He arrives on prehistoric Earth with Megatron and the rest of the Predacons.
Predacons. Ooh.
Anyone
That's
ever think about how
naming.
weird it is that these aliens come to Earth and none of them decide, oh, I'm just going to be a fucking tree, since that obviously dominates this entire world.
Right.
Like, none of them turn into plants ever. They're just.
I just love the idea
What do you
that they
mean?
turn into
This
cars.
makes perfect
We think they're sentient.
sense.
We think cars are the evolved life form on this planet. That makes sense.
It's like,
Also, why does he need glasses? He's a machine. Shouldn't his optics work fine? And like, there's a lot of fur. Like, I
They're
get you
Beast
want to
Wars.
blend in, but man,
there
this
should be
is
a whole subset of like Furnicons and
Furnicons.
Furicons. Yeah,
the
yeah.
Moss bots and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna throw the world of cosplay into turmoil
Yep,
if we
yep.
keep talking. My gosh. And they have this weird like Japanese
The
bot.
the fungi formers.
Is that what
Oh
that
yeah.
is? Is that a mushroom bot? I
That'd be
don't
pretty
know
cool.
things. Yeah, like what's going on here? Are they
Well, she's
dating?
from the original series.
Oh, okay. She's super Japanese
No,
transformer bot.
she was like the one girl that they had on Transformers because you got to have one girl in an '80s cartoon.
Oh, right.
Mm. So you're not sexist.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
she does
Okay,
have to fall in love and need saving all the
all
time.
the time, constantly. It's time to it's time to rescue one girl again.
It's time to
I don't know.
rescue the girl again.
Expecting subtlety from the series that had the testicles of one bot over John Turturro.
Yeah,
Like why do bots have testicles? I don't understand
they have to get
their
their coolant
reproduction.
out.
I thought they just used the Allspark and then they
No.
had more bots,
Yeah,
right?
I try not
Like,
to think too hard
And,
about it.
and why does the Allspark only create bad bots and not good bots in that first Transformer movie? I have questions. I never really got into the
well,
Transformers.
you,
I don't know if you
you
figured this
know who
out
could
yet.
answer your questions? The Testicons.
The
The
Testicons.
Testicons know the answer to all things.
More than
We
meets
must
the
consult the
eye.
Testicons. Yeah.
Did they have a cockroachicons or insecticons?
There were bugs, right?
Insecticons.
Insecticons,
Now
yeah.
that's a great word.
It seems like there probably were
Right.
Insecticons.
I think we hit a pretty. If not, we should just go ahead and run with that.
Yeah, well, Insecticons are in Beast Wars, so
Insecticon is a character, or a
it's
character
a
class.
G1. It's a
What is a G1?
Was that the little
Like
things that
Generation
hung out
1?
inside of Shockwave?
Ew, really? Like bacteriacons?
Well, the
Oh, I think
Insecticons
I've got a
included
virus con.
they included Shrapnel, Bombshell, and Kickback. So there's so many
Yeah.
Insecticons.
It turns out there are Insecticons.
Yeah, of course there
Because
are.
there had
One
to
of the
be.
Insecticons is named Shrapnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the trio's
Okay.
leader. Shrapnel, Bombshell, Kickback. Named
What
clones
kind
of
of
this
bug is
group.
he?
No, wait. Named clones of this group includes Salvo, Shot Hole, and Zap Trap.
Salvo.
There's an Insecticon team, a second team, Venom, Barrage, Chops. They have great names. I have to tell you. I love these names.
Didn't
They're
Marvel
so dumb.
like do a lot of the creation of that?
Good lord, this is stupid. Yeah, maybe. I mean, these are kind of like the Peter Parkers of
the Peter
of
Parkers
naming.
of the
Well, he
transforming
always
toy
uses
world.
two P's.
Oh,
You
the
know?
alliteration. Stanley loves his alliteration. I
Yeah,
guess that's a
here, I'll
comic book
find
thing. Lois Lane,
Stan
Lex
Lee,
Luthor.
two
Oh.
P's.
Alliteration is it's probably just for good for kids, right? Like it makes for a memorable name because these things were made for kids in the 30s. So.
Like when I first saw Parker Posey, I figured she was a Stan Lee creation.
For sure. So the last one that we have on the list is the parrots' Zoom calls. This seems like a Rob story.
It is a me story. Mostly it interests me. It always interests me when I read stories about that, and people are surprised that animals that are social can understand emotions, right? Because
Yeah.
that is what emotions are for. They're for dealing with social interaction. So of course they can do those. They can't do math. That's what's different between man and beast, right? They can't do math as well as we can, among other things.
So you're saying they'd make really good YouTube personalities, or
yes,
or product managers?
So
sure.
So they found like some of these parrots like other parrots more than others from what they sound like. They found that some of these parrots even made connections with other parrots' owners. Like they like them more than their owners. There's just something about it. So
can I live with you, Susan?
Yeah. Well, they're one of the only animals too that pass that self-recognition test.
Yeah, yeah.
Where if they see themselves in a mirror, they understand that that is them and not another animal. So yeah, they let these parrots call, and what do you know? You let the parrots call, and they do. They call their friends all the time, and they just squawk at each other and squawk at the other owners, and yeah, it's kind of interesting story.
I took a photo when I was in Vancouver that my daughter said was very trendy.
Oh.
Let me find it. She said it was a terrific photo that I should use over and over again. It's very au cran, if I may.
Oh.
And here it is. This is the picture.
Oh, and it disappeared.
What the crap? There.
Oh, it's a
So
peregrine falcon. I mean, I don't know
no,
what
no,
kind
no.
of bird.
That's a kestrel. It's a
Are you
kestrel.
sure?
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I was there.
Okay. All right.
Wait. Yeah, no, that's the kestrel. Yeah, so the kestrel and these people are taking pictures of the kestrel, and I'm taking a picture of the kestrel's big moment. So I thought that was
Wow. It got pretty meta, didn't it?
yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have my good camera on me. So
I was gonna say anything. I was a little disappointed. You know that's what
yeah, I need to up my camera
step up your
when I
game.
go. Yeah, but boy, that was a cool session. You know.
As far
Oh,
as
and I got to see a tardigrade. Ariel Waldman, she
Wow.
brought some samples from the Arctic, and there was an alive tardigrade in the sample.
Huh.
You know, with its little fingers, fat
Aw.
arms. Yeah, it was cool.
As far as streaming media, you guys, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves is out on streaming now.
Oh, it is?
Oh,
on
really?
digital. So
Oh, that's nice.
you got that to look forward to,
Awesome.
and so is Renfield.
Oh,
Kind of want to
and
check
that is
out.
too.
Yep, that's also
Although
that,
I did want to see it. Is it good? I mean, I heard it flopped.
Yeah, I heard it flopped too. But I wanted to. I mean, I heard that it's okay for what it is. Like, it's not going to set the world on fire.
So I really like that sort of Nick Cage self-deprecation sort of shtick
Yeah,
thing that he does, but I like it for about 15 or 20 minutes.
exactly.
There has to be more than
It's a
that.
good sketch. It
Yeah.
doesn't hold a movie.
Like that movie he made where that's basically about him being picked up by Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Like there are parts of that movie that
Yep.
are very, very funny. It's
Yep.
just like
By the last
hour too
half
long or
hour,
something.
by the last half hour, you're just like, okay, I'm done with this. But the middle third of that, where like Nick
It's
Cage
really
is,
funny.
and like how he's got a Nick Cage layer and all that, like with all the fandom materials, it's great.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole movie in that.
No.
Not with that attitude, there isn't.
And I think that Renfield has the reviews that I've read of it sound like it has the same problem. There's not a whole movie in it, but there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and I really like Nicholas Hoult.
I do. I also like Nicholas Hoult.
God, I loved him in The Great. Oh, did you watch the Great?
I'm a couple
it was
episodes
a mini
into
series,
that.
2 seasons. I think 1 season, 2 seasons.
I'm only a couple episodes in.
Good.
It's
So
got
good.
all the style.
It's so good. It's so much fun. It's about Catherine the Great and Peter.
Yeah, it's got that blonde girl. What's her name?
Fanning, one of the Fannings.
One of the Fannings. Yeah, there's like too many Fannings to keep track of. They're like Hemsworths. If the Fannings and the Hemsworths get together, they're going to create beautiful people, and we're all doomed.
Oh, can you imagine? Or they'd be, atrocious.
Mutants.
Just mutants.
You combine so much beautiful DNA, and then what comes out the other side is the opposite.
Yeah, it's like the royal family. It starts getting weird and inbred, and the chins disappear.
So. That checks out. Do we have anything else?
WGA went on strike. I watched season 3 of Picard. It was absolutely fantastic.
It's perfect. It's
no,
for exactly
it was fantastic.
What it is.
I really enjoyed it. It was perfect
for what it was.
Exactly
it was
what
exactly
it should have been.
It's what Picard should have been.
Yeah.
Don't be weird. Just try to be more Star Trek.
Just be Star Trek. And they had to bring the damn Borg back, but it was fine.
Yeah, I did feel that the final sequence, basically lifting Return of the Jedi, felt like a bit much, but okay, fine.
Even Raffi didn't make me want to pull my eyeballs out.
Because they didn't use her too much. And also she didn't have to interact like a ton with the regular crew, with the rest of the crew, with the legacy crew.
Yeah.
She had like one episode where she was with Worf. No, I thought that was exactly what I wanted from that show. I wish I would have had 3 seasons of it. It would have made me happy.
Nope. It's over, right? I mean, this was the last season.
Well, I think that they set it up now for the word is that they're going to try to do a spin-off with 7 of 9 and Jack and Raffi on the new Enterprise. Star Trek Legacy.
Bad idea. This is a very bad idea.
They're calling it Star Trek Legacy. That's the
They shouldn't. They should just stop while they're ahead.
If they can hold the tone and the things about that show that I felt worked, then I have no
Nope,
problem with that.
nope. End it. Kill it. Now, what's interesting is who was the showrunner for the season was the guy from For All
From
Mankind.
12 Monkeys.
And well, yeah, but also, the best parts of Strange New Worlds. For All Mankind was very good. So it's like, he was the
Is
right
For All
guy.
Mankind done?
Are you
I think so.
So they
are you
left that on a
are you
good cliffhanger.
are you ready for the $1 million Star Trek spinoff that they won't do but should?
Yes. Bring it, Rob.
They take after Marvel's next wave of nonsense with like the Monster Squad and all that shit, and they have a special division of Starfleet that just recruits the monsters from the show, right? So like
Oh.
the crystalline entity that everyone drives
Oh.
The
around on
salt
that.
monster.
But yeah, they don't even have a spaceship. They all ride on the crystalline entity through the space.
Yep.
Right. They got the weird. Remember the weird things that were invisible. You could only see them under black light that Geordi almost turned into.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Have
So
all those
it's like the
creatures.
Doom Patrol Suicide Squad of Star Trek.
Yep. They
Yes.
can have Gorn.
Hmm.
Yeah,
gonna be
like
great.
weird plastic rubbery Gorn.
The
Yeah.
tar monster that killed Tasha Yar can be their leader.
Yeah.
Wikipedia says For All Mankind has been renewed for a 4th season. But
I'm behind on For All Mankind. I haven't watched the 3rd season.
Also, we should probably mention that the Ark was renewed for season 2.
Oh, I hear that's
Somehow.
a real
Good
winner.
Lord.
That may be
How?
the worst television show I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
For
it's
real.
so bad. It like loops itself back to good, back to bad. It's so bad.
I would rather watch QVC for an hour than have to sit through an episode of Ark. It is really that bad.
It's
terrible.
awful. It's like you remember the Nazis on the Moon movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Iron
yeah,
Sky.
Iron Sky.
Like there are parts of Iron Sky that make the Ark makes those parts look like genius. Like you remember the bad guy in Iron Sky and she had her spaceship and she wore those ridiculous shoulder pads like
Yeah.
she's playing a joke on us?
Yeah.
That was better than everything in the Ark.
But the Ark thinks that it's real, and Iron Sky knew it was being ludicrous.
Yeah, Iron Sky knew it was being ridiculous, and it had sort of that weird German sense of humor. Like, there's no excuse for the
Scandinavian?
Ark. Like, it's so bad.
It is.
Like
If you ask
I
me,
watched the whole thing because,
Oh,
you
fool.
But
Yeah.
God,
Good
like
work.
the way
I mean,
it
I couldn't do
ended,
it.
you're like, oh no, this is not good.
Like if you asked me what it was about, I could tell you, but I'm not sure I could tell you the name of a character in the show because my mind is just
Generic person one, generic
refusing to
person
know any
two.
details about it.
Will not
Plucky
assimilate.
scientist girl, and because she wears glasses. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, and you say it, and it sounds like I'm making fun of it. I'm just describing it. Like they're so lazy. It's the laziest show ever. Like their
Self-mocking.
botanist scientist who is enamored with the betraying redhead weird. It's so dumb.
All right,
The
then.
redhead is also the daughter of the bad person's. It's like, oh my god, you guys, this is so dumb. You
And you're
used
like,
an entire page to plan this out.
yeah, it's just cliches. It's like,
Yeah.
oh well, at least there isn't the smart girl who doesn't know how hot. Oh, there she is.
Oh,
Never mind.
she
there
took
is.
off her glasses and her overalls.
Wait a second. Is that the overconfident jock who really is sensitive inside?
Oh,
Oh, it is.
Oh, good.
In 14 minutes, we need some fisticuffs between two wildly unmatched people that goes their way somehow.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And then they become friends afterwards because the one's plucky.
Oh.
It's
So
just
dumb.
like, yeah, it's
And
you took
she
a
even
bunch of
tries to pull
cliches.
that Federation bullshit at the end, like, well, I know that you wouldn't have done that for me, but now we're friends. And I'm like, what are you, two? What is this nonsense?
Dude, get out the airlock with them. You can't trust them. They're a liability. You have to be an adult now. You have to kill that person.
It was so dumb. And like, oh man, it's so dumb. So, like, what are they gonna do in season 2? Like, double down on the dumbness? And they've already structured it how, like, they're the only ones left of humanity. I'm like, "Fuck, let the species die if that's the case." But you know what
Well,
they're gonna fucking do? They're gonna bring out, "Oh, and here's Arc 17, and here's Arc 4," and they're gonna run
yeah,
into them, and there's gonna be
it's gonna
conflict,
be
and but we're all gonna get together to save humanity at the end, and
it is
at the end of it, you're just gonna wanna grind humanity into dust if this is what we produce.
it's gonna be, "Oh, there is another Battlestar." It's gonna be
Uh,
that,
but
Yep.
it's
remember
the
that?
Pegasus.
Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, shit."
Oh
Really?
man.
Alright, so I guess the whole premise of the show,
Yeah.
right on the shitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look, they're gonna go back to Earth too.
Oh,
Oh
great.
no. Yeah.
And guess what? Every single character is a Cylon.
Well, this is the thing. And they would, they started out like, oh, we don't have enough water. We don't have enough. I'm like, I've seen this before. And they're like, oh, how did that ship catch up with us? Oh, they've got faster than light technology. We should take that. And it's like, oh God, you're dumb. This is
As you
so
do.
dumb. It's just so dumb.
All
It's
right.
it's aggravating when something like that gets a second season. Like
It's
who was
it's
watching
funny
that?
to me that you've
Was it
spent
the
more time
Spanish
hating on
password
the
sharers?
arc, more time hating on the arc than loving on actual good season 3 of Picard.
Well, it's because seasons 1 and 2 of Picard made the arc look like art. Because,
Oh,
in some ways, seasons 1 and 2 of Picard were worse than the arc because they took something that people treasured
and
and
ruined it.
they pooped on it, right?
It's
And
true.
and Picard season 3 was the pulling out of a dive, right? So that's why it makes it even better because they
Mm.
imagine if like season 2 of the arc is like amazing, like
Well, everybody loves a
actually
comeback.
good,
Yeah. I
right?
mean,
Then it'd be like you don't go from love to hate, yeah, to apathy. You go from love to hate. Just like we were not going to go from hate to
yeah.
apathy with the arc. We're just going to keep
I mean,
hating it because there's no
yeah.
way, right?
You never love your pilot more than when he just narrowly avoids the mountain, you know?
Even when it
Exactly.
was his fault for almost crashing
Yep,
into it in the first place.
yep.
Yeah.
He saved you, and you're like, "Right on."
Yay!
Yeah.
That's
Like,
kinda what
thanks,
Picard
Bell.
season 3 was. It
Yeah,
was
it
that
was.
Yep.
we almost crashed, we saved it.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry.
We
Someone
almost
shouldered
crashed our
it from the
Enterprise
side.
on an abandoned planet for no reason.
Oh
Yeah.
God, it's so dumb.
All right, gents, do we have anything
Oh,
else we
the
want to
arc
get off our
was so
chest?
bad. I think I've said how much I dislike the arc. So good.
What show was it that you really disliked, Chris?
It was the
Started
arc.
with an A.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
the arc.
good. Good, good, good. Okay.
And also, it's a terrible name. You know?
There's nobody named Noah even on it.
Oh, there probably is though,
They're
because
all
they're not
named
going to miss an
Noahs.
opportunity like that. Let's go.
There is 2
Arc
kinds of
cast.
every kid, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I don't know.
That'd be funny.
No, but yes, it would be funny.
They have 2 sensitive jocks and 2 beautiful girls who don't know they're beautiful because their hair is in a ponytail.
They have at least one girl with glasses character, and
Mm,
that's literally like how they stocked it. They have the Han Solo pilot. They've got the stoic security guy. It's just they have so many abandoned plot points. It's hilarious.
No,
Like the
those are
whole
just
thing
Easter
where
eggs.
one
Those
of them
are
was having
set
sex
up for next season.
with his mentor, and she died in the beginning, and but it doesn't really keep him
I
from
don't think you
getting
understand the
together with
importance of the
someone
Arc
else.
cinematic universe.
It's so dumb. It's the dumbest show ever made.
I'm never gonna watch it. So
And like all the actors, like Rob said it best the other week, it's like there's just somebody walking by the studio, in
yeah,
front of the studio, and they're like,
that's
"Hey,
how they
you look like you're a captain. Why don't you come on side?"
that's how they cast it. They have a whole bunch of writers, one looking out the window to grab cast members that they need as they write it that day. And,
If there's any justice in the world, this is the first and last, um, you know, role for these people. This is a career ender. That's all I'm saying.
wow,
It should be.
harsh.
It
Picked
should
up for
be a career
4
ender.
seasons in a movie.
Yeah, right. No one, there's no justice in this universe.
Okay, before I sign off, Chris, is there anything else you need to say about how terrible the Arc is?
No.
All right, goodbye, Rob Roseboob.
see ya.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
And it was all made in Czechoslovakia. Just seriously. So they found some like
that was
good-looking
episode
Czechoslovakians.
785 of Geeks in Space. And keep going, Chris. This is funny. We'll see you next time. I was Rob Banner. Bye.